morning. All right, am I okay back there? I hear a little feedback over here, so you tell me when to go. All right, you good? Awesome, thanks, buddy. Well, good morning, everybody. So I could do a lot of things, but I just want to say thank you. I'm a product of this community. I've only been a full-time entrepreneur for a year, and it was because of the Plywood team that told me, boy, stop playing. It's time. Fly out the nest that I'm even on this stage right now. So I want to thank the team for all their support, and it's an honor to contribute back to a community that's poured so much into me. So I have a personal question because I feel I have a lot of friends in here and some new friends I'm going to make, I'm sure, over the next couple of days. It's a personal question, and it's rhetorical, so don't say it out loud, don't yell it out. And it's very simple. It's, are you a creeper or a sleeper? And so, did I change it up there? There we go. Oh, back. All right, are you a creeper or a sleeper? All right, so before you answer that question, I'm gonna be vulnerable myself and tell you more about who I am. But I figured that the bio that BT just did is good enough. Let me tell you about my most embarrassing moment. I feel like we can just cut through all of it, right? If I can just get this out, you'll trust me a little bit, hopefully. And that is the fact that I lived in Portland, Oregon for a little while. And the backstory on all this is that I went to Launch Youniversity in Nashville, won a business plan competition. Somebody saw a Google alert, pretty random. The guy who calls me up is a competitor that's in my business plan. He says, come take a job with me, move to Portland, Oregon. So that's how I get there. But I'm at an event called Mortified. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but the tagline is, share the shame. Adults sharing the embarrassing things they created as kids. Now, I'm just an attendee like you are at this event, and a woman comes up with a guitar. She says, I'm gonna sing you a song that I made to a guy I fell in love with. And so she pulls her guitar out, she's singing. I mean, she says, I love you. You know, we're all like, oh, that's cute. You know, it's a okay song. She says, well, I sung it to a guy after the first date. I did the same thing you did. We all said, oh. Well, it's not just any guy, it's this guy. This guy's name is Gregory. Now, if you don't know Gregory wrote a little book called He's Just Not That Into You. I did the same thing, right? And so I was like, wow, that's so crazy. And while we're all laughing, and I stopped laughing because it dawns on me. I did that too. I just didn't know how creepy it was. I did it in 2005, and it wasn't until 2009 that I recognized that was creepy. Someone had to tell me my story back to me to say, man, that was weird, bro. You know, like, you don't tell a girl after the first day, I think you're the one, like, I think God made me for you. She's like, well, okay, man, that's it, right? So the reality is that's how many of us are marketing our businesses, like creeps. You're creepy. We all got a friend that's creepy, right? The MLM, no offense, I love MLMs, but we got a friend who does MLM, and they're like, hey, how's it? Hey, buddy, I don't want that today. Thank you for the opportunity. I thought we were hanging out. Right, that friend who finds a way to talk about what they're doing in every single conversation. But that person turned us all off, right? But the creeps don't know they're creepy, right? Like me, they didn't know that they're creepy. Matter of fact, creeps don't want to be creepy. They're determined, they are competitive, they're motivated, they're driven. They do not want to fail because they care so much. We understand this. But unfortunately, our experience with the creeps makes us all go a different direction. Because creeps only make about 10 to 15% of people. Where most of us are actually sleepers. We're the people who think, I don't want to be that person, I don't want to be that person, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work really hard in isolation. And it's going to be so good that people are going to just discover me in my basement, right? The people who come to Plywood and someone's saying, what are you working on? You know, just a little. No, I'm asking a question. Now's not the time to be shy, right? But the challenge with all that is sleepers are equally motivated. They're just idealistic, perfectionists who are so committed to excellence that they don't know how to overcome their own issues, right? They're driven by strong vision, high standards of excellence. The challenge is they see Field of Dreams like a business strategy. If I build it, they will come. They will not come. Unfortunately, they won't show up because they don't know you exist. So what is important for us to understand is that creepers and sleepers do have something in common. And that is the fact that they are trying to avoid failure. One person saying, I'm gonna go to the extreme where no one will ever say my product is not perfect. And the other person saying, no one will not know I exist, right? And neither solution is effective. Now, there is something that creates something where sleepers are cautious. I understand why they're cautious. We all battle this from time to time. They're short on cash. They're short on capacity, right? No time to get everything done. Maybe they're short on competency. I don't know how to do what you're telling me to do. But if you battle with either of those three, you're gonna struggle with confidence. So we can relate to the challenges. So today I'm here to give you a third solution, and that's being a helper. Being a helper. The opportunity to be a helper is only effective because of the principle that sits behind it that all leading organizations have figured out. They figured out that serving is greater than selling. Serving is greater than selling. Now, I know we've been to talks before where someone says, let me define the word service for you, but I really have to do that again, sorry. Here's why. In the definition, I love it says doing work for someone. Helping, yeah, we know that. No, doing work. That means something has to be accomplished, value must be delivered in service. But that means doing it before you actually ask for anything. Before you say, my product will help you pay for it, my marketing must inherently be helpful. Now, this is illustrated really well through a strategy that's emerging by a guy named Jay Baer. Jay Baer is a big-time consultant for social media for a lot of Fortune 500s. He calls it utility. Utility. And he defines utility, well, partially mine too, of making marketing useful by creating resources provided for free that create long-term trust and kinship with your company and your customers. Now, I love the idea of kinship, but I won't go too far into that. But making marketing useful, I want to zone in on that for a little while. Now, a quote from the book I love, it says, utility doesn't overcome all other product and price dynamics, but it gives the brand that extra edge, the tiebreaker that allows it to ultimately sell more by selling less. I love this because if we're honest, who has a Moleskine journal in here? Anybody has a Moleskine journal? All right, that's enough of us. We all know we're paying 7,000% higher than every other notebook in the world, right? Me too, right? I mean, I'm on your boat. It's paper. It's paper. The Me notebook costs 49 cents. The Moleskine costs $25, right? Like, how did this happen, right? It's paper. What are they doing to get the extra edge? I guarantee you it's not making better paper, right? So it's up to us to think about that. So I'm gonna walk you through a few case studies that illustrate this in different industries, different contexts. And the first one is Adobe. So those, I'm sure many people know what Adobe is, but if you don't, Adobe is a software company for marketing and creative professionals. So Photoshop, InDesign, Exact Target, a bunch of stuff like that. The key thing I want to lock in on with this is they bought a company called Behance about 4, 5, 6 years ago. The founder of Behance spoke here at Plywood a few years back named Scott Belsky. But Behance actually allows designers to upload their portfolios online for free. And then they go a step further, and they actually create an email list called The Served, where they actually find creative directors, and they curate the network and email creative directors from the people who post their portfolios online for free. Then they created 99U, obviously, with that. This is a website that gives you free career advice, how to price your services, how to negotiate with a client, all this free advice on how to actually build your business and build your career for free. Because they know if they can help you get work to pay your bills, buying their software is an easy decision. It's easy. If I actually help you pay your bills. Or another example I love is this one, Charmin, and their app Sit or Squat. Now, if you don't know where I'm headed with this, I'll take you there. They have an app where you can actually rate public restrooms. It's like Waze for bathrooms that you want to avoid, right? So people walk in, it's very simple, rate it, sit or squat, right? You're just walking through restrooms like, oh, sit or squat, right? We inherently understand how valuable that is. We're laughing, but we're all like, give me that app, right? Because the next time you're on a road trip, if you're in a bad restroom, it's your fault. Charmin said, we're gonna take care of that for you. Whether or not they use our toilet paper, it doesn't matter. We want to be associated with a great restroom experience. That's what we want to do as Charmin. We don't care what toilet paper, it might be sandpaper in that public restroom, right? But You know Charmin did everything it could to help you have a great experience for free. Or a company that I'm a customer of, HubSpot. So HubSpot creates software for marketing, nerds like myself who actually want to help companies and themselves measure marketing all the way through the funnel. And their lowest service costs $1,000 a month. They're a small business in their mind, but that's a lot of money, right? But the key thing is, I was a fan of theirs for 6 or 7 years because they gave me all these free tools. I could put in my employer's website, and they would grade it with their marketing grader. I could put in my marketing plan in a questionnaire, and it would pump out results of how I can improve my marketing plans. They trained me more about marketing than my college degree. That's a fact. That's a fact. When it was my turn to give them that money, I was elated because it felt like a thank you. You don't know how many raises you got me by your free training that I didn't tell my boss about, right? That's what we're talking about when we talk about adding value, because serving is greater than selling. Okay, so those are technology companies, those are big brands. Let's get smaller, right? We have river pools. Never heard of them. Don't worry about it, right? But here's what they figured out. This one guy named Marcus Sheridan said, I need to sell more pools in my area in the Northeast. He's only thinking his little local market, right? He's not thinking national, but he's by himself. So what does he do? I'm going to answer every question I get on the phone and turn around and put it in a blog post. Okay, all right. How do I install a fiberglass pool? How much should fiberglass pools cost? What's the best time of the year to install them? Every question he got, one by one by one, to save himself time and be helpful. Fast forward, his SEO starts to skyrocket because he's the only person answering all the niche questions that everyone else is ignoring. He's now one of the leading national sales of swimming pools in the country, right? Because he said, I'm going to be helpful. Whether or not you buy pools from me, you will know how to buy a pool well. Fast forward, he's doing well as well also. And then two of my friends in the front row here, a company called Stuff You Can Use based here in Nashville. I'm in Atlanta, gosh. I live in Nashville. Forgive me, y'all. Long day, practicing all morning. All right, so the key thing is, these two friends of mine from Buffalo, New York, started something because they are former youth pastors, and they recognized that no matter where they were in ministry, there were other youth pastors still struggling with simple things, like what game should we do today with the kids when they show up at church? How do I break the ice, right? So they put together a library of over 250, I think 48, I counted recently, 48, 248 games. They're free. Just download. You can do games for free. You can do them for $5. They tell you where to go buy the supplies. They talk through all the rules on how to play the game. And now teachers, now youth workers of any kind are coming to this site saying, how do we break the ice? Well, that got to an email list of over 35,000 people before they launched any product, just because they're being generous online, right? Well, then they said, well, let's create a Facebook community for other youth workers like us who are struggling with the reality of working with teenagers in today's world. 19,000 people later, you fast forward, and when you launch your first product, it's a very different story, just from being generous. Generosity is a marketing strategy, but we'll unpack that a little more as we go. My last example, so you have no money. You have no money, you don't have tech savvy. What am I gonna do, Kevin? Be like Zappos. Zappos recognized we're selling the same shoes as everybody else. There is no competitive advantage on shoes. But what we can do, we can be the most helpful. So where Amazon and other sites bury their phone number, the first thing you see on Zappos' website is a phone number. Then they have live chat, they have text capabilities, they have FAQ. Pick your poison. We are here to help you in any way you want to be helped. Pick what's coming for you. So if you have no money, but you have time, offer your cell phone up. Another friend of mine, Mr. Mark Miller in the back, saw him speak the other day, got in front of people like you all and said, here's my cell phone number, call me if you need help. Maybe that's the answer. Just giving your phone number away, and I'll give mine away at the end of this talk. Hang on. All right, and so the key thing is, it's really about us deciding how we're gonna be helpful. One thing they did at Zappos that really stuck out to me was there was a person who called them for a set of shoes they didn't have. And the person on the line said, well, we're sorry we don't have that shoe. They asked why they need it. Well, there's a big family event coming up. In 2 days, I need shoes. The representative of Zappos hung up the phone, got in their car, bought the shoes from another person in town in Vegas, shipped the shoes free of charge, and said, because we don't have the shoes, it's on us. Now we say, wow, that's so generous. It was $20, y'all. Like we're not talking about they changed their life with $100,000 shoes. No, it was like, no, I just took the extra mile because I decided to be helpful. Now, this is a part of a bigger trend I'm seeing when it comes to influencers building their personal brands. I just want to give this to you for free. It's the rise of the virtual leader. We've all heard this idea of like, build your platform, be an influencer, yeah. And I'm not against it. Those people pay my bills, and I'm very grateful. What I am saying is, it's outdated. Once upon a time, you built a platform to stand on top of it. People looked up at you, and you talked down to them with your wisdom. And it doesn't mean you had ill intent, but that's just the reality of the circumstance. It's flipped. You now build a platform to give everybody a leg up to jump on top of you, you hold it up. If you have experiences, you hold everybody else up. That's the future. At one point, you want to be an influencer, now you want to be a virtual leader. At one point, you thought build an audience, now it's build a community. It was be an expert, no, now it's be a curator of experts. It was create followers, now it's create leaders. It was gain attention, now it's inspire action. Now, we all know this because that's how people with small audiences you've never heard of, right? 19,000 people in a Facebook group. Most people say, that's not a big community. I mean, goodness. I got friends with 100,000 followers. But when you get a community that's inspired to act, everything changes. Not just for their lives, but for your organization and your business. Now, you're probably saying, Kevin, how? Give me some how. You got me a little bit on the what and why. Unfortunately, I have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. So I created a resource to give you the how. If you'll text starter to 345-345, I will give you what I'm calling a social media and email marketing starter kit, because that's where you need to start, because it's free. I'm not going to sell you some $10,000 a month strategy, right? I'm saying, what do you do with what you have? If you text starter to 345-345, I'll give it to you. Now, it includes another presentation. I did an audio training for you. I give you fill-in-the-blank plans for email and social media. I give you a list of tools to use, 2 content calendars, one for social media and one for your blog, and I'll give you an opportunity to actually schedule a review session with somebody on my team for free, because I'm going to show you the power of serving. All right, so text starter to 345-345, and I'll send it to you right now, and via email too. All right? My goal today is to convince you to avoid the extremes of being a creeper or a sleeper. You can instead be a helper. When organizations do this, they're selling to you, they have a different level of confidence. They're happy selling to you because they have something that they know will add value to your life. When you serve more, you can sell more. I have seen this in my own life over and over and over again. Whenever I lead with generosity, it works. But what gets in the way? Ego gets in the way. I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to fail. The I keeps showing up, right? It's about how you look. And the reality with some of that is, with generosity as a strategy, that might feel a little icky to somebody in the room. Charity is about giving to someone in need. Generosity, by definition, is just the state of being kind. It's the willingness to give more than expected. You can do that. You know why? Because something in your pocket is medicine, right? If I had a headache up here and you had ibuprofen, no one would say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to share with Kevin. None of you. You'd all say, I got aspirin. Come on, man. Come over here. What you're doing is medicine for someone. You believe in what you're doing. So if what you have in your pocket is medicine, change your perspective and give it away. Because if you do that, if you shift your mindset, what's going to become very clear is you'll be able to sell from a heart of service. Because if I have value to give you, I don't want to hoard it. I don't want it to erode not sharing it. Because serving is greater than selling. Thank you.